as I was saying...
Ladies and gentlemen,
The Semi-Daily Night Show with Gary TV, your host, Gary.
Tonight's ceremonial first pitch. And please welcome the President of the United States.
We did it, sir.
just making sure you're paying attention.
Welcome to the Semi-Daily Night Show. Kamala Harris is finally helping the hurricane victims. She has sent $157 million of aid to North Carolina.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
Just kidding, that's what she sent to Lebanon after paying for the bombs that blew up Lebanon. Hurricane victims are receiving $750 one-time payments of aid. We received more during the 2020 flu through stimmy checks, and all we spent it on was tequila and stocks because there's nothing else to gamble on. I think we can afford a little more, Kamala. Despite them offering what I spend at Costco for 1 month of groceries, people in the community and even other communities have stepped up to help and bring aid into many rural communities. But it's being reported they are being blocked by FEMA. But the government denies that it has turned around aid from people trying to help the communities that FEMA still hasn't helped. And the government also denies that invading Iraq over Saddam having WMDs was a lie. They told us Biden was mentally fit for office, and they told us Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. So I'm sure they aren't rejecting any aid. Except there's hundreds of videos of people in North Carolina trying to deliver aid and are being turned away. And I can speak on this. I held FEMA certifications. I used to drive an ambulance for a living, which almost is as scary as the guy that's heading up a lot of the aid in North Carolina, Pete Buttigieg, and he's also rejecting aid because it isn't bedazzled enough. All right, who wrote that? You're gonna get me in trouble. To be fair, Kamala is busy recording episodes of Call Her Daddy. Now, people are outraged that Kamala would go on a podcast that is hosted by a woman who literally is famous because she slept with people, but that's the most fitting podcast for Kamala Harris. This channel finally has momentum, Gary, and you're going to get us in trouble. I'm excited for the Call Her Daddy episode. I'm excited for the Call Her Daddy episode. Okay, that's a lie. I've never said that in my life, and I hope to never say that again. This is clearly a tactic to combat Trump's podcast run. So Kamala went to speak to her constituents. The young female demo that wears hoodies and heels and used brat summer as an excuse to ignore all responsibilities, do the devil's dandruff in bathrooms of clubs. Alex Cooper dresses like every girl in San Diego after a one-night stand from a guy in his mid-30s still not trying to settle down, and asks all his friends who have families, what happened to Saturday with the boys? Families happen, Chad. That's what happened to Saturdays. Start a family or join a pickleball league like everyone else that sucks to be around. You're picking a fight you can't win, Gary. Making jokes about Alex Cooper is a bad idea. These women are chronically online with no hobbies, and they will end me. But it looks like some of Alex's fans are upset about it. I now have to explain to my fiance why my Instagram search bar says I looked up Call Her Daddy. Podcasts have become a medium that presidents and even vice presidents have started to step into. I just really want to see that guy on a podcast. It would be my generation's MLK I Had a Dream speech. Let's get back on track. Natural disasters are horrific to watch. Even more horrific than that podcast. I don't even know what you do when your town floods. I live in California. But Florida and North Carolina natives, these people are the only kinds of people that can withstand this horrific event. We as a divided nation get to see the strength of true rednecks. And I say that as a complete compliment. This area of the country is probably the last place that actually cares for the community and neighbors, and we are seeing that on display. These people can survive anything. This is beyond sad, don't get me wrong, but these people drive quads through swamps for fun. They are literally built for this. And I'm not making jokes about the victims at all. Floridians are known for not being scared of literal living dinosaurs. Alligators are just massive and hungry lizards. And lizards are just snakes with four-wheel drive when you think about it, which they also have a lot of. And North Carolina is so strong, they tried whiskey before and literally said, hold my mason jar, and made moonshine. Who hurt you, North Carolina? Oh, prohibition and an evil government. There are people put on this earth to get through these kinds of things. Still, incredibly sad and wild to see, but if this happened to LA, every Tesla would be floating away like any dignity that hellhole had. So again, I'm not making jokes about hurricane victims at all. What I am making fun of is the federal government and its response. Volunteers of communities have shown they are quicker and better trained than the government by immediately jumping in to help the citizens of North Carolina. But that doesn't mean the people of North Carolina should be without government aid. That's literally what you pay taxes for, and not a Ukrainian aid package or a Lebanon package to fix the damage of bombs that we also send Israel. It's like a pyramid scheme where the government just gets richer. But FEMA is like the DMV with a siren. They don't help that much and they're just annoying. And the government finds this natural disaster as an inconvenience for the financial plans.
You know, I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel.
I knew we never should have trusted a man named Lindsay. You've seen that face before. It's too unpleasant to forget. But you probably don't remember what state he's a senator for. Because why would you want to remember anything that face has said? But he's literally the senator for the neighboring state of South Carolina. You're probably asking, Gary, why would you even show his face? Well, if I have to see it, so do you. But you're also probably asking, well, established and deserving of Pulitzer Prize journalist Gary, doesn't FEMA have a lot of money for these exact things? No, they're broker than me and you after we paid rent and bought eggs. But of course, FEMA denies they are running low on money. The same way they told us that they would help Maui and Katrina, which this man was right after we all learned how victims of Katrina were treated.
George Bush doesn't care about black people. Please call.
Now, Kanye is a controversial figure, and I will probably regret putting that joke in here. But FEMA hasn't donated that much aid, and Republicans believe that they have found the reason, and it's the migrant crisis, which has taken some of their funds. Now, there's a lot of differing information around this about whether they took money for the border crisis, but it's mainly coming from one person.
It's just categorically false. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
So which one is it, KJP? You're the White House, you should know. But in the haze of all this confusion of getting people aid, don't know why that's confusing, some people have stepped up. Elon Musk has delivered hundreds of Starlink devices as a lot of communities still don't have contact with the outside world. And it's reported by on-the-ground first-hand accounts, FEMA actually blocked a lot of these shipments at first. But Elon, who tweets 100 times a day, tweeted 101 times that day and called out the government on this and actually thanked Pete Buttigieg for helping. Pete only helped because when he goes to help, he needs more photo ops and there's no way to upload them without internet connection. That's not even conspiracy theory, that's deductive reasoning. Starlink does sound like a weird thing to provide for aid because internet connection might be lower on the aid needed, but it's actually vital in this day and age, especially since that is the only way you can apply for getting your $750 as the applications are all online. Something the government didn't think through. FEMA denies this, but people on the ground, including a SpaceX engineer, says firsthand that FEMA isn't helping distribute them nor letting people distribute them to victims. And the overall theme for people on the ground, that it's true that FEMA is blocking aid to victims. And people paid by the government are saying that it's not true. So you're probably asking, well, who do I believe? Well, the government, of course.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.